A major change in the American movie industry. Paramount Studios has announced it will no longer distribute its movies on 35mm film in this country and is going digital instead. The first movie to be sent out in the new format was The Wolf of Wall Street. Paramount's last to go out on 35mm film was an Anchorman 2. The legend continues. Some in the movie world are saying other studios are likely to follow Paramount's lead, and that film, as we know it, could be history by the end of this year. For some analysis, we turn to the KCBS Newsline and Bay Area filmmaker Lise Swenson, co-founder and former president of the nonprofit Media Arts Education and Exhibition Facility, Artist Television Access, or ATA. Her current project is a movie called Saltwater that's in post-production. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Good morning.
Good morning. You've been making movies for quite some time, and you're currently shooting in the digital format. Tell us how that's different from 35mm.
Well, it's a lot cheaper. I read the article in the LA Times, and they say that small movies like documentaries, and I would consider Saltwater, though it's a fiction, a small movie made for less than millions of dollars. God, there's no way I could have produced this film in 35mm. Not only have shot it in 35 or distribute it. It really is prohibitively expensive, and the industry is going to start enjoying a lot more cheaper distribution once they move totally to digital.
Lisa, I'm wondering, in terms of film editing, are we going to notice any difference in terms of what we see on the screen?
Absolutely not. Saltwater was shot with what's called a red camera, which creates big raw data files that we are now in our final throes of post-production, editing in a totally digital world. And what we have to do to make it look like film, we actually have to go back at the end of the editing session, having worked in a completely digital world. It's called the digital cinema space. We actually have to add grain to the digital image to make it look like film. In fact, we have to degrade the image slightly. So, no, you will not see a difference. In fact, I think we're working in an environment that actually has more potential than film.
I guess one of the roadblocks for going all digital for the big studios was that all movie theaters aren't ready for it yet. But that seems to be changing at a pretty rapid pace.
Yeah, it's been changing for years. People have been going to digital cinema space for the last 5 years. All the smaller theaters here in San Francisco have been projecting digitally for years. This is really not big news. But I'm going to be curious to see how people handle using film in the production phase or not, because, again, most of what's being shot is being shot digitally now, too. So, I mean, I really think, I hate to say it, but film is a format of the past, and the purists and the people who love it are just going to have to understand that we can make as beautiful images in the digital realm.
Yeah, it would seem to me, though, if you're using a digital format, that everything is going to be faster and simpler. I mean, everything, in relative terms. But I mean, you're not dealing with a material piece of film in this sense.
Exactly.
You're just dealing with the
hard
sound
drives and streaming. I foresee within the next couple of years, all of this digital cinema is going to be streamed from the company's headquarters, and the theaters are already preparing for that.
And in some ways, does this mean that the large studios with all the money are losing their grip on the product? Not losing their grip, but that it's more an egalitarian business now.
I wouldn't say that. Actually,
No?
I think it's going to be even a tighter kind of hold on distribution, because the companies, the distributors, Paramount, for example, will be able to dictate who receives via digital streaming, who receives what films. And there's actually a lot of talk in the film world about that, because it's feeling more like the studios will have that much more control. It's not like Joe can go to the back room and get that movie that's in film and put it up. They have to actually now do a contract with the distributor about what they can stream and what they can't stream. And it's all going to be computerized, and it's all going to be very it's going to be hard for the smaller cinemas that reach out to different places to get different kinds of films.
So, Lisa, before we let you go, Saltwater, what's it about?
It's about a woman on a journey to find herself, to understand her past so she can fully live her future. The primary location is the Salton Sea down in Southern California, which is one of the country's largest ecological disaster, so it serves as a metaphor for her understanding her life and how to move into a healthier space. It's really beautiful, and you should really check it out at saltwaterthemovie.com. We're almost done.